midnight train to Dreamland. In a quiet town, where stars twinkled like scattered diamonds, there lived a curious boy named Leo and his little sister Sophie. Leo had wild, dark curls and eyes full of wonder, while Sophie's golden hair framed her face like a halo, her blue eyes always sparkling with mischief. They loved adventures, especially the kind that began with a whisper of magic. One night, as the clock struck midnight, Leo woke to a soft chug-chug-chug sound outside his window. Rubbing his sleepy eyes, he peeked through the curtains and gasped. There, right in the middle of their street, stood a shimmering train unlike any he'd ever seen. Its body gleamed with silver and gold, and the smoke from its chimney sparkled like stardust. On the side, written in glowing letters, were the words, "The midnight train to Dreamland." Leo shook Sophie awake. "Sophie, look, there's a train outside, right in the street." Sophie groggily opened her eyes, then leaped from bed when she saw it. Without a second thought, they slipped on their slippers and tiptoed outside, following the soft glow of the train. As they approached, the door slid open with a gentle whoosh, and a conductor stepped out. He was tall and thin, with a bright purple coat, a top hat slightly too big for his head, and a golden pocket watch dangling from his vest. "Ah, Leo and Sophie, right on time," the conductor said with a wink. "How do you know our names?" Sophie asked, wide-eyed. "The midnight train knows the name of every dreamer," he replied with a mysterious smile. "Care to join us for an adventure? But remember, you must return before sunrise." Leo and Sophie exchanged excited glances and hopped aboard. The inside of the train was even more magical. The walls shimmered with constellations, the seats were plush clouds, and the windows showed not the neighborhood but swirling galaxies and floating islands. The conductor tipped his hat. "Next stop, Dreamland." With a mighty choo-choo, the train surged forward faster than any train should go, racing past the moon and sliding down ribbons of light. They passed through dreamscapes, forests where trees whispered secrets, candy mountains with rivers of chocolate, and underwater cities where mermaids waved from crystal towers. Their first stop was the land of giggles, where everything was hilarious. The grass told jokes, and the clouds above puffed into funny shapes. They met a giant jelly bean named Gibber, who bounced around, laughing so hard he tumbled into a pile of rainbow-colored leaves. Next, they visited the Kingdom of Lost Things, where every missing sock, toy, and crayon ended up. Sophie found her favorite stuffed bunny, Mr. Flop, who had disappeared weeks ago. She hugged him tightly. But as they continued their journey, Leo noticed something troubling. The sky outside the train's windows was turning from deep indigo to soft pink. "Sophie," he whispered, "it's almost sunrise." The conductor overheard and frowned. "We must hurry. If you're not back before the sun rises, you'll be trapped in Dreamland until the next midnight train. And that only comes once a year." Panic set in. The train rattled and roared as it sped faster than ever, zooming past dazzling dreamscapes. But just as the sun's first golden ray peeked over the horizon, the train screeched to a halt right in front of their house. "Run!" Leo shouted, grabbing Sophie's hand. They leapt off the train, racing toward their front door. As they crossed the threshold, the morning sun flooded the street, and the magical train vanished into thin air, leaving only a faint trail of stardust behind. Leo and Sophie collapsed onto their beds, hearts pounding. When they woke later that morning, sunlight streaming through their windows, they wondered, had it all been a dream? But then Sophie smiled and held up Mr. Flop, her missing stuffed bunny now back in her arms. Leo grinned. It was real. And though they never saw the midnight train again, at least, not for a while, they always listened closely at midnight, just in case they heard the faint chug-chug-chug of an adventure waiting to begin. The end.